back. Welcome back, people, for another episode of the UK Rap Podcast Show, brought to you by your host, DJ Cage, alongside co-host, aka DK, aka DJ Diamond.
Yeah, man, we're here in the building.
We're in the building. Nothing but good energy. Mind there, people, I'm telling you. Yeah, nothing but good energy today. As you can see, we got another guest, a big special guest, overdue. As you can see, right in the middle, we got Mr. John Pitman himself. Welcome to the UK Rap Podcast Show. At last, exactly, at last. First of all, I want to big up to the sponsors. Shout out to Candy Cravers, Kerry's Kitchen, shout out to Sweet Tea's Cakes.
King Solomon's Tomb or King Solomon's Healing.
And make sure you go check them out on the Instagram and Facebook. And make sure you give them a shout. And also, most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the UK Rap Podcast Show, and also give us a follow on the Instagram. And just like. Same thing for the videos. And hit us up in the comments as well. So, yes, like I said, good energy today. Special guest, John Pitman. Those who don't know, ready? Yeah, so let's just get into this then. So, like I said, welcome to the podcast show, John. Broke a little joke there. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Last time it was a bit, back and forth. But finally, we're here
now.
And let's just get into this interview. Like how we usually start with the podcast show, John. Could you just break it down your background history on
like where you grew up, where you went to school?
So I went to school. I grew up in Hardwick in Quedgley until I was about 14. Then I moved to Frampton for about 2 years. Didn't like it there. It was just weird. It's too out in the country. Mm-hmm. Then moved back into town and lived in town until I was early 20s. Till I met my wife, who's from White City, born and bred.
Okay.
And then lived with her, and then we moved to Tuffley, where we still are. Grew up in Quedgley, went to Sevenvale School.
All right.
For a little bit.
Same school I went to, by the way.
Didn't get on very well at school.
All right.
I had some issues when I was younger. Bit of an angry little kid.
Okay.
So they ended up letting me have a punch bag in the gym, and that was what I used to do at school.
Okay.
Sort of left. Got asked to leave when I was 15, and just got a job. I was boxing since I was 11 years old. Did well at boxing. Fought up until I was about 19. Had a promising career ahead of me. Was looking to go pro and that, and then had a motorbike accident, so that got cut short.
Right.
From there, just the same as most young kids, going uptown, getting into trouble, chasing girls, fighting, and then sort of started working on the doors. Worked on the doors from when I was sort of 19 years old up until I was probably about 32.
Okay.
But unfortunately, when I stopped boxing, I sort of got involved with drugs, cocaine, partying, everything else that goes with it. And,
all right. So before we get deep into that discussion, you went Sevenvale.
Yeah.
So household, was you brought up with like mum and dad? Was you the only sibling?
My mum left when I was 11.
Right. So obviously that played a big effect.
Yeah.
Of course.
My best mate got killed when I was 12.
Wow.
So that all happened in a sort of 6-8 month period.
Okay.
Pretty headshot.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Then I started boxing as well around the same time. So the boxing sort of kept my head sort of channeled. So I was brought up by my dad with my brother. I was decent at school, football and that, but boxing really sort of was my thing.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I went to the gym and It wasn't like these days when kids come to my gym and they're looked after, you know, and they don't really spar until they're ready. And, but in those days, the first time I went to the gym, I was sparring.
So what days are we talking? What's this? The eight?
This is like the Ebony Club. I don't know if you'll probably. I don't know if you can even remember the Ebony.
I don't know about it. No, I don't know. I've heard about it.
So what's this then? Like the what? The late late 80s?
This is like 1985.
Okay.
So where the car park is behind like Mandela House and that.
Okay.
It's like the old Tommy Rich's school.
Yeah.
And that Tommy Rich's school, there was they used to call it the Ebony Club, and there was like, remember this, like this Rasta guy used to do loads of wicked paintings and that in there, and it was a bit of like I think it was like a community centre.
Right.
But so I'm getting into all this trouble at school, and my dad knew a guy called Dave Simmons who boxed in the Olympics and that, and he was one of the coaches at this club, and I thought I was a kiddie. Right? Like in my road, no one was messing with me. In my road, bear in mind this is hard. It's not even like Trevor.
I know what you're saying.
So I went down to the boxing club and I thought, I can handle this. You know, I got pasted every time I went.
Every session.
Every time I went, I got hiding for probably 3 months, something like that. And the gloves in them days, when you're getting hit with them gloves, you can feel everything.
Right.
You know, so it's a good way in a way because it's sink or swim, and like you learn to like it's either for you or not for you.
That's
pretty
right.
Fast. You know, now we look after the kids a lot more, and
it was much tougher then, isn't it?
Oh, mate, a lot tougher. Yeah, it's still tough now, but the introduction to it, just like getting there. Just
medicine ball, them tough one. Yeah, I can imagine.
Get in there and
horrible.
So, but I just loved it. Like, you know, there's something about boxing that when it gets you, and you can be in there and just having a beating, and you get out of there and you can't wait to get back in. But it's all about. It was just what I wanted to do. You know, in football. There's always someone on your team playing crap, you know, and letting everyone else down, or you know, it might be you playing rubbish and letting everyone else down. But with boxing, it's you, and what you put into it, you get out of it. You know, so and all the glory is yours at the end of it as well.
100%.
It wasn't long before I started holding my own in the gym, and then ended up, you know, fighting from the age of 11.
Right.
So, but that was. That kept my head pretty straight.
Right, okay.
You know, like, it wasn't till after I stopped boxing that the things that I hadn't really dealt with in my past came back up to haunt me, really. And in those days, like when my friend died, he got killed in a car accident. Well, he got run over. But there was no counselling or nothing then. It was just like, just get on with it.
Right.
You know,
back then was kind of like hot. Like a lot of things. Like back in those days. Like
so
now.
Like, you know, if a kid goes through stuff now, even at school, like
they got support now.
So I was dyslexic at school. I didn't even know until I was 18.
Okay.
So like the teacher was, you're not as good as your brother, and you're stupid, and all this sort of stuff. You know, they can't even talk to kids like that these days. But back then it was just like. That was just normal.
It was definitely the norm back then.
So, boxing kept me on the straight and narrow, and I didn't get in too much trouble outside of the gym because I just dedicated my whole life to it. All I wanted to do was fight.
Right.
You know, I was looking up to like Nigel Benn and Tyson.
The top dogs. And
that was what I wanted to be. You know, I was staying up till 3 a.m. to watch Tyson fight.
Yeah.
With a video recorder that didn't even work. Then falling asleep before he got to the
We've been there. We've all been there. Still doing it now. Still doing that now. So so what led you? So that was the early teenage years and that. So what led you? So after that path, getting older now. Like what can I say? Like the adult, the 18s and that. So what led you into you saying like the drugs and that? So what led you into taking
the accident? That's what kind of changed everything, innit?
So I had this motorbike accident, and I had a couple of friends who were like involved in boxing, but not as seriously as involved in as I was.
Right.
So I started going out with Kickle Wayne Bond, who's well known in the city, plays rugby for Matson and all that. Everybody knows Bondy. He led me astray. It's his fault that I got led astray.
It's always one of them.
But I never touched alcohol. I never touched drugs. I didn't even really know what drugs were.
Right.
I went to an Ice-T concert when I was 15 years old, right? And I came out of there stoned through all the and I was like the only white kid in there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was like, what is that smell? And I didn't even know what it was. You know, I didn't touch no alcohol or anything like that. All I wanted to do was fight. So because the drug culture in Britain was like very heavy then, innit?
It was,
like very heavy. Like
I didn't even know about it.
Right, it was very heavy. Like back then, innit? Like the music was. I think it was like
that's what's
techno and all those music and like carry on.
No, I'm saying it's probably good that you do boxing that kept you away from
100%.
I mean, I can remember there was kids in my school like sniffing gas and stuff like that.
Yeah, those days.
And like, I was like, it's like that's
there were a couple of wild ones doing that
or anything like that. So I started going out uptown with Wayne and his friends, and I couldn't drink, like, because I'd never done it before. So the drink used to hit me like so hard, and I'd be like trying to throw my drink away when no one was looking. But then, so someone offered me a bit of speed one day, and like I thought, yeah, this is all right because I can't get pissed anymore.
Right.
You know, so like that was my thing then. So instead of that's how I coped with the night. Started taking a little bit of speed, and that's how I got introduced to drugs really, and just little by little, and then moved from that into doing a line of coke, and then you know it was like me and my friend would like share a gram of coke, and that would be like one night a week, and then it went from that to like 2 nights a week, and then it was like get a bag on your own, and then it was like 3 nights a week. And this happened over like probably 3 years, something like that.
All right.
And it was like a real gradual thing. But then I started working on the door. Well, I was working on the door, and it just everyone I knew was either selling coke, selling drugs, or doing drugs. And I sort of got sucked into this life that I just thought it was just normal.
No, it's the norm. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And you sort of like, I went from this sort of like quite a quiet upbringing in Hardwick and Quenchley and that to being in town, and then you know meeting all the boys and getting involved with all sorts of different things. And the normal conversations was who's in jail, who's coming out of jail, who's been stabbed, who's been filled in, and those conversations just become the normal thing. Drugs became just a normal part of my life, and then it went from I was on a 2-year suspended. For GBH, and so I stopped. I couldn't work on a door no more. But before that, sorry, I'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So I got a job in London working for the Spice Girls. Right, and I was up there.
That era.
Driving them around, taking them shopping, doing this type of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, brother.
And it was wicked, right?
Okay,
but my daughter was like, I was coming home on the weekends, I expected my daughter to be all over me, and she'd just look at me and just walk past me, like, because life goes on when I ain't there. So then I get this case, which was just a fight in town. I ended up hurting some guy who a little bit more than what I sort of did. I didn't really tend to do him over bad. It was just like,
I know what you mean.
It was just one of them. So I got sacked from this job in London because it was like quite a high profile thing. But like, I wanted to be around my daughter a little bit more anyway. Yeah. So then I'm getting into the drugs, doing more and more coke. And then it goes from, I'm on this suspended sentence. So I'm thinking, right, I'm not going to go out, I'm going to stay in. So I go from going out and doing coke to staying in and doing coke. Now, anyone who knows about doing a lot of coke will tell you that you associate that drug with people and places. So I'm coming home from work, and the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, I'll have a line.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes from 1 minute I'm doing it once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. Next minute I'm doing it every day.
Every day, flat out.
And it's it just became like such a normal thing. And then obviously it ain't cheap, so next thing you know, you're selling a bit to your mates to cover what you're buying.
Yeah.
And then you're selling a little bit more, and the next thing you know, it's like turned into something completely different. So this went on for quite a few years, and then some of my close friends were getting some big sentences.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, this is going to be me.
So you wasn't in tuned in boxing at all throughout that period?
You know what? When I got injured, I was right on like boxing for England. Not like full England squad, but it was like a lower level, entry sort of level type thing. So I'm right up there. I'm sort of probably in the top 3 in the country, for sort of like my age and that. And then, so I'm driving around the lanes on my motorbike in Frampton. I've just got a pair of shorts on. I'm coming around this corner. JCB comes around the other side. And I wasn't going that fast, but I swerved out of the way, hit the gravel, and then just took all my skin off my arms and my legs and that. Twisted my spine. And it wasn't even, I didn't even think I was that bad at the time. It was just, I just thought it was like scarring and that. But I just kept getting these problems on my shoulders all the time. And then I'd get fit, and then these injuries would come back. And in the end, I just knocked it on the head. Started going out drinking, and that's where.
Okay,
that's
brother. Okay.
But when I stopped boxing, I couldn't even watch it on the telly. It just completely did my head in. There was people that I boxed going on to win like Commonwealth titles, British titles, and I'd beat them, knock them out in under a round. You know, like I was doing all right, and I beat some really good kids. So I had to turn my back on it completely. I couldn't face it. But when I started working on the door, like when I was boxing, my name was in the paper, and you know, people knew me from that. All of a sudden, you feel like a nobody. You know, and like, you know, don't get me wrong, I was not on the level that like Ridley was on or anything like that. But you see these boxers who are sort of high profile go off the rails. And I can totally understand that, because even the little bit of success that I had was enough to make me want to be someone. You know, and like, so when I was working on the door, I wanted that reputation. And I wanted people to think, oh, he's the man.
The man and all that.
In reality, like, it's bullshit, man. Do you know what I mean? It don't mean anything.
Don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing. But you get sucked into this world, and like, at the time, I was split up from my ex, and the people I was working on the door became my family, really. So it was a good crack, and like, you know, you have some real good laughs and that. But then it went from that, the drugs took over, and you know, like, good mates were doing things that you just think, you know, ripping each other off. Yeah. And like, you know, my best mate at the time, like, you know, he like tried ripping me off for like 3 or 4 grand, and you're going through his front door. And that's like your mate, like, you know what I mean? And you just end up in all this madness, and it just, you know, it's not like, it wasn't until I came out of it that I realised how messed up my life was, and how far removed from like reality my actual life was.
Right.
So it got to the point with the drugs. I've met my wife, who I'm with now, been with her 20 years, and she's just like, never gives me no grief. Couldn't meet a better woman.
Right, okay.
But she made me realise that I need to sort my shit out.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask you, who got you on the straight and narrow?
What was it?
Yeah, like, what was it? Or
yeah, so like, at first she was partying with me, and it was all good. And then I was thinking, oh, what am I doing? Like, because not only am I in a mess, I'm sort of like needing her down as well. And like, you sat there at 5 o'clock in the morning, wired, looking at the ceiling, waiting for them little footsteps to start running across the landing. And it's just like, I just got so sick and tired of feeling like shit, and feeling tired and feeling ill from being on a come down. And I had just like, I was always like confident, and I had no self-esteem, I had no confidence, I just hated who I'd become.
right.
And she used to say to me all the time, like, you know, you can be somebody, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And I can remember at my lowest point, was in bed one night, and she said to me, if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And I said, I'd own a boxing gym. And, I don't even know why I said it, because I never thought I could make money out of it. But that's what I wanted. And, so then I started going to drugs counselling, and I was going every Monday at 4:30. And it was
big steps now, big steps in it.
It was in that GDAS place, what was it, opposite H2O.
Yeah.
And I met this woman there called, I can't remember her name now. I can't remember her name, but it's like put me on the spot.
Yeah.
But she really helped me, like no end. But so the drugs counselling led to going to see a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist was like brought up all this shit from my past, and it was like that's what the real problem was.
Right.
It was all like an escape, because I wasn't fighting no more, and I wasn't letting my frustration out.
So it was just all built up.
Yeah, it was just built up. So she made me realise, her name was Joe.
Okay.
So she made me realise, this psychiatrist made me realise that I needed to deal with my past before I could sort of move on. So I had some sessions and sort of dealt with that best I could. And just started cutting out. So instead of doing it every day, I not do it on a Monday.
Okay.
Then not do it on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And those little steps weren't too bad. But what was really hard was Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, when you're with everybody.
It's the weekend.
Yeah, you just feel like, I used to say to my missus, like, I feel boring if I don't have it. And she's like, you're boring when you have it. I'm not joking, right? There must be people out there who can relate to this. I would have, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 grams in a night, and I would stand on one leg, looking out of my window, through the curtains, for, like, hours. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, shh. Someone out there. Someone out there. There's no one out there. And I got so paranoid and like, just like thought, it's just like you led there wired at 6 a.m, you hear a van door open, and you're thinking, the police are coming, they're going to come through my door or something like that. And it was just, I just hated that existence, and so I got myself to the point where it was just one night a week, and I literally had to like shut myself in my front room, shut the door, keep the television off, and I had to just ride it out for like about 3 or 4 hours. And honestly, it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
I could imagine.
It was torture. And then I sort of got my head around that. And then I'm training in another gym with a couple of boys, and we're doing a bit of pads. And someone I know who had a lockup said to me, I've got a boxing ring in my lockup. Do you want to rent it off me? So it was like this tiny little lockup behind a Quick Fit. So I rented this little, it was like 13 years ago this week. Just had a little boxing ring, a couple of punch bags in there. So I just thought I'll start training a few of the lads in here. And within a month, I rented the whole unit. And I sort of like, I mean, what it looked like then is nothing compared to what it looks like now. But I was just, any money I earned, I paid the rent and I put it straight back into the gym, try and buy mats and new kit and stuff like that. And within, like, people just started coming. But it was like, Gloucester Boxing Club was like, it always has been really, like the, even since the days of Harold Hilton and Johnny Melfer and Pete Hanlon and like Purcell Brothers.
Yeah, I know a couple of names.
Like, Gloucester Boxing Club has got that history.
Yeah.
And so that was like the main place. But you couldn't go and train there unless you unless you were of a certain age group and you wanted to fight. They don't want people going in off the street who just want to keep fit.
Yeah.
It's a proper boxing gym. So I thought, I'm going to open a gym where if someone wants to come and punch a bag or just like come and train, do a few circuits and that, they could come in there. They might not want to fight, that's fair enough. So that's what I did. But it just grew and grew and grew. Really.
Crazy.
And then I obviously got my licenses and we got our amateur club started. And the amateur club was buzzing, and Danny Carter from Coney Hill, he'd had I think he'd had like 50 odd amateur fights. I was talking to him about coming down and doing a bit, and he was saying that he was interested in going pro. And there was no pro boxing in Gloucester for like 30 odd years. Since like Johnny Williamson, they used to have like a gym in the leisure centre, and there was Johnny Williamson, John Stone, Mark Purcell, I think Mark Singh was pro at the time down there, but it was like after that sort of ended, it just finished. I mean, Gloucester's a rugby town, you know, and if you ain't playing rugby or skittles, like no one wants to know. So
that's kind of true still. I
ended up getting my pro license, and then Danny started doing all right, and next thing you know, there's shows on at Gloucester Leisure Centre, and pro boxing's back in
the city, back in the city.
And that was how it all started, really. And
right.
It's just gone from that to just strength to strength, and then obviously Riddy's come along, and Shabir, he came from Afghanistan, and you know, came into the gym, couldn't speak a word of English, literally came here on the back of a lorry.
Oh, right.
You know, didn't...
That's a crazy story. Crazy story.
Another story altogether.
Crazy story.
You know, and what he, you know, to think of, like, any of my kids travelling from Afghanistan to England with nobody else there, you know, and making that journey and surviving it, and ended up, you know, he's at university and everything now. You know, it's crazy what he
was. He one of your maybe off camera when we speak. Well, I wouldn't mind see if we could maybe sort out something. To get it. I wouldn't mind.
So Shabir won an amateur. He's our first amateur national champion. We got another lad from Stroud, Max Mudway, who also right up there. He would have done GB as well, but he went to Glastonbury, and I didn't see him for 2 years. But
the time of his life.
Now. He's had like 5 or 6 pro fights now, and he's right on the verge of pushing for titles. We got some real good kids coming through as well. My son is he's just won like quite a big tournament in the summer. So he's we're looking to push him now, and he'll go pro probably when he's 19. We've got this lad David from Liverpool. He's something else, tough as anything. I mean, like, he comes from like right in the centre of the So he's come down here, and
total different from up north.
Totally different.
Total different.
So he's looking good. Andy Harris's son. I mean, Andy had probably 85 pro fights. He was journeyman. We did some of the O2, some of undercard of Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
So that was where I really learned my pro trade with Andy, because we were fighting every week.
Right.
His son's coming through, so it's just weird. We've seen the gym grow from nothing, and these kids come in at 13 years old, and they're like adults with their own families and everything now, and they sort of become like my family as well. I haven't got a big family, so Christmas is like, you know, don't know who's going to be there. All races and everything.
I did, and talk about your Christmas as well. I seen through your Instagram and that you looked like you had a nice Christmas as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, because I lost my brother and my dad. My brother died in he died at the beginning of February, and my dad died at the beginning of December.
Okay,
in the same year. So it's like it's a bit of a weird time for me, really, Christmas. Right. But it was nice that David, who come from Liverpool, he's never had nothing. He's never had no Christmas, never had no birthdays. His life has been tough.
Right.
So we sort of brought him into our family, and we gave him a proper
okay.
And do you know what? That is what made it for me.
Right. Yeah. Of course, man.
He just seen this is what it should be like. You know. That was banging this year.
So your boxing club, what's it called? Fight Factory, and what's the age limits for people to go there? Kids.
We start kids from 5 years old.
Females as well.
Yeah,
female fighter.
girls and boys. I mean, the little class, there's no contact. They're not punching each other up that young.
Right.
And then the proper boxing club starts when they're 10.
Okay.
They can fight when they're 11, but they have the standard of your kids boxing in this country is so high that they have to be of a certain standard.
Is it?
Before you would put them forward for anything like that, because honestly, these kids are unreal.
Yeah, I can imagine. Especially like from like a young age, fully disciplined, and
it's the same as if you go and watch some young kids play football.
Yeah.
You know, the things that they're doing that in the boxing ring as well. So you've got to be very careful who you're matching with, and we've got this database that we've got all the clubs in the UK, all the fighters, all their ages, what they've done. So everything that we do is as safe as possible. Yeah. It's not like white collar boxing where some bloke is going, oh yeah, we'll have him against it. Yeah. All the officials got to okay the fights, and everything is done. DBS checks, you know. So like any of the coaches, you can't just have some random guy you don't really know.
Right. Okay.
Everything's done properly with England boxing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty full on, but it's, you know, you see some of these kids and like they come from the worst backgrounds, you know, and boxing gym is a place where it don't matter who you are, whether you've got money, whether you haven't got nothing. If you put the work in, you can do something with it. Yeah. And it's probably one of the only sports that can make you a millionaire if you start with nothing. You know, like some clubs like tennis and stuff like that. You know, they're quite middle class sports. You know, boxing is like one of them where, you know, these kids are tough kids.
So you see,
to be tough.
So talking about you're talking about like that. So I just wanted to just drop this one in. So you see, like you was heavily involved in boxing. Was it you ever? Obviously, I know like your era, not just boxing as well was big, but also like, you know, like kung fu. You wasn't really into You wasn't really into kung fu.
I used to look at Bruce Lee films. Then Bruce Lee films,
all right, okay.
It was like everyone went to the cinema where Witherspoons is now, and you watch Bruce Lee films, and everyone
must have been sick.
Everyone wants to be like some kung fu master. But then Rocky came along.
Changed the game. Changed the game.
Everyone comes out of the Rocky films and they just want to fight. Even now, like we have the Rocky music on all the time. We're just going to. I remember travelling from the hotel to the venue, and we're banging out Rocky on the way. Right. Them days are still there.
Right. It's proper like that proper motivation, inspirational in it, like the Rocky, like that Rocky era. Even you see your son now? Has he watched all the Rockies?
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Do you know when my son was probably 2 years old? That's all he watched.
Rocky.
Loved it. Loved Rocky. And like he was saying to his girlfriend the other day, because Jay's 16, his girlfriend's never watched Rocky.
Right.
And like in my house, you're
yeah.
So like we're gonna have to sit her down one night and make her watch all of it.
Yeah, school.
But I tried judo and karate. And
right.
It just wasn't enough.
Right.
Actual like contact.
I get that. I get that.
Boxing, it was just like you could just get there and you could fight, and that's what I enjoyed about it. Even though at the time it hurt.
So what 2020 hold for Fight Factory, John Pitman, fighters?
This next year, obviously Ridder's just won the WBC title. He's also, as everyone knows, got ripped off in the fight. Maxwell.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what happens with that, because he's still got a rematch clause. Personally, I think Maxwell will vacate. Don't think that he will box really.
Right.
They ain't going to rip him off again. Yeah. And
only kind of two ways about it. Yeah.
So I think he'll vacate that. For Riddy, he's got a little like knee injury at the moment, so that'll probably keep him out for a couple of months. And then we're going to be looking. I think he's ranked 15 in the world with the WBC.
Right.
So we're going to be pushing for them big fights.
Right.
Max Mudway is looking at Southern Area or English title. Shabir's he's got some learning fights to do first. After about 5, 6, 7 fights, you can really start pushing on. But it's not just about learning the pro game. It's about everything that goes with it, the dieting for the fights, the build up to the camps, and it's so different from amateur. Amateur boxing is all about speed and skill over 3 rounds, loads of punches thrown. Pro boxing is about breaking your opponent down and hurting them as much as possible.
Okay.
So it's a different style.
Yeah, total difference there.
And even though Shabir's made for it, I think it's like in his first fight, he came out and the crowd went crazy, and he's just like, rah.
Loving it.
But like halfway through the fight, he's knackered.
Yeah.
He spent all his energy on the ring. Like, you know, so it's stuff like that. That's why you don't fight straight into high level fights, because you got to learn little fit to iron out the things like that. So when you do fight at a higher level,
you're ready.
You're ready for
Ready
that.
for that, 100%.
So Shabba hopefully have about 4 fights this year, and then next year we can start pushing him forward.
Okay.
Fight Factory's boxing show February the 12th at Oxtalls.
Wicked.
So all the young kids from 11 years old up to, I think the oldest one we got on now is about 30. We've got about 14 or 15 fights on that.
Wicked.
So
when's that again?
that's the February the 12th at Oxtalls, that is.
Right,
so
okay.
we buy tickets on the door for that. And our kids from our gym are fighting kids from London, Birmingham, all over the West Country.
Right. People check that out.
A little showcase.
Yeah, so it's good to get the kids out as well, because there's some cracking fights on there as well. You know, some of these kids, they proper go for it.
Yeah.
It's good atmosphere. So if you like, bring kids to that.
Yeah, nice little family day out as well. Yeah.
So it's just growing the gym really. Like as well as the boxing, we got a big social side to it as well. So we run fitness classes from people who are overweight to people who are really fit.
Right.
And the one thing about my gym, right from the start, I wanted it to be somewhere where people don't look down on nobody else. You know, and you go to some gyms and people are like, oh, what's he doing? There ain't none of that in my gym. You know, everyone will push each other, and we've had everyone from policemen to proper criminals in there.
Yeah.
And everyone leaves their shit at the door.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, and they get on.
Yeah.
And some of the police and some of the other way, they start thinking, hang on a minute, these kids ain't quite as bad as what we thought they were.
Yeah.
You know, like we've had people like Zeffy Campbell, who's a proper street kid. You know, I can remember one year one of the police buying him some trainers because he didn't have no trainers. You know, because he realised that he's not just some street kid who's in trouble all the time. He's actually a decent person.
Yeah.
You know, so it gives people a chance from different walks of life to see each other in a different light. As soon as you go out the door, then it's back on. But all the people from the fitness classes, they come and support all the lads when they're fighting, and you know, we took 250 people, 150 up to Stadium of Light in Sunderland when Reddy fought for his English title.
That's
You
nice.
know, there's coach loads going out, you know, packing places out. So you're allowed to get some good support.
Yeah, man.
From them.
Yeah, that's that. So what's your the Instagram? Have you got Instagram, Facebook for the
So
the people?
Gloucester Fight Factory is the gym one.
Right.
So we'll post everything on there. You know, everything gym related on there with the little clips of the lads training, and any inquiries for the gym, they can go through there. Or I've got an app for the gym, which is if you go into your app store, you just put in a Fight Factory, and then anything like classes, booking for the classes, you can all do straight through there.
All right. Okay. So people go into the app store and do that now.
Yeah.
Okay. I like
now.
that. Yeah, it has changed now, definitely. So before we round it off, no, we got enough time. Run me down your top 5 all-time boxers.
Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, you're Mayweather. Okay.
I met Tyson. I got a portrait of him on my arm and he signed it.
Yeah.
That was the best moment of my
Right.
life. Honestly, it was better than my kids being born.
I know them. I
thing.
definitely hear you on that. I hear you on that. So I thought you was even gonna say someone like a Manny Pacquiao or like
so many, like, you know, like when it gets to like the top 5.
you're not a Fury, fan?
Do you know what, Tyson Fury? Yeah, I mean he's a great boxer, but
How long has Tyson Fury been around? Tell her that.
he's been around for like a good 10 years now.
Yeah.
But Tyson Fury is amazing at what he does for this era, but it's just my personal choice.
Yeah.
I don't think big Anthony Joshua fan. We've been on the same shows as him a couple of times and sat and had breakfast with him, and I was really like, but I just can't see him beating Fury. I
No.
think Fury is just too good at moving, too good at boxing, and just don't think Joshua's on that level.
What about that? There's a fight coming up soon as well. Pick your winner for this one: Amir Khan, or is it Kell Brook? Yeah.
That's a tough one. You know, I think just because of the way they live their lives outside of the ring,
Yeah.
I think Amir Khan.
You reckon?
If it was in their prime,
Yeah, definitely be Kell Brook. Yeah. Rocking.
But I know that Kell Brook likes to party, and I think as you get older, that I think, you know, the Muslim thing is perfect for boxing.
Right.
You know, like the Muslim
Discipline.
culture,
Yeah.
and they, for their faith, they've got so much self-belief that I think that it's perfect for boxing. But I think where where Kell Brook is, he likes a party lifestyle as well, and I think that might just age him a little bit.
Right.
I think if you look at when they both fought Crawford, I just thought that Kell Brook looked
Kind of. Yeah. Definitely can agree with you on that one.
But I think back in the day, in their primes, I think Kell Brook.
So what about Frank Bruno?
Do you know what? I love Frank Bruno.
I was thinking. I thought he was going to say Lennox Lewis or So what about Frank Bruno? So you see, like that Frank Bruno era. What was it like? Because back then
we was too young.
It's too young. But man, obviously we knew about Frank Bruno but yeah, what was it like?
Frank Bruno I think Frank Bruno for me was like, I mean, obviously I can't speak for people older than me, but he was the first boxer in Britain to really capture the public.
Right.
Him, Barry McGuigan. But like Frank Bruno was like, even if you go to a fight now and Frank Bruno walks into the like ringside, the whole crowd will be chanting
Bruno, yeah.
I think, like, you know, he was just one of those...
The proper legends, though.
I think he's way better than people give him credit for as well. You know, Frank Bruno was definitely the man.
Yeah.
I met him, he's massive as well.
Is he?
He is I come up to his shoulders. But, yeah, I love Frank Bruno. He's the man.
What about Evander Holyfield?
See, I think Evander Holyfield was...
Because didn't he have a fight last? Did he have a fight last? Did you watch that?
Oh yeah.
Did you watch that fight?
Yeah. That was silly. That was.
But I think Evander Holyfield come from that era where you had Tyson, who was like the best person to watch because he was so unpredictable and you didn't know what was going to happen. But Evander Holyfield was amazing at everything, but like because of his personality, he's quite humble.
Yeah.
But because of his personality, he didn't really put himself out there like Tyson. So he sort of like, unless you really know your boxing, you probably wouldn't have like noticed him as much. But with Tyson, it was like, Tyson for me was just like, I can't even watch his losses.
Because was you a Tyson fan before Bruno, or was you a Bruno fan before Tyson?
You know what? It was just like watching. You know what was going to happen in that. Like you just knew. Like you.
That fight was crazy, isn't it? The Frank Bruno and Mike Tyson.
Do you know what? Bruno, like, he'd give it to Tyson as well, but you know, like you just knew that he just wasn't quite on that level. Yeah. Well, not even quite. He just wasn't on that level.
How many times did they fight? Twice.
Yeah.
Twice, isn't it? Didn't Tyson come over here as well for that? For like some press conference
he
or
came
stuff,
over and then he got arrested.
Right.
For something or other, and I think he went. Yeah, the first one it was they were going to fight at Wembley. Then he got arrested and went to prison. But when he came
That'd
over,
have been crazy. Wembley.
He fought Julius. Yeah, he fought Julius Francis over.
Crazy, Mike
And
Tyson,
he actually,
Bruno.
when he fought Julius Francis, they actually rented the space on the soles of his boxing boots to the Sun newspaper for advertising, because that was obviously his feet were going to be like that on the floor. Like, you know, so, yeah.
So you say, so you met Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
What was that like? Crazy.
Do you know what? I walked into this room, I shook his hand, and I purposely wore this like short sleeve.
Yeah,
top.
so you can see.
I said to him, "Oh, can you sign my tattoo?" And as soon as he seen my tattoo, he was just like all over me, hugging me and kissing me, and like honestly, it was just because I was worried about thinking, "Oh, you know, you should never meet your heroes and stuff like that." But it was the most surreal moment of my life. And he grabbed me, right? And I'm not like the smallest guy in the world. And I felt like I was about 3 years old.
Was he like a proper little unit?
Me.
Proper unit.
Hands were massive, and it was just amazing.
Yeah,
And then a couple before COVID hit, we went to Brooklyn. Me and my wife went, and we stayed right next to Brownsville, like where I wanted to see. We stayed in the ghetto.
Okay.
And man, that was a different story.
What was that experience like?
Oh, do you know what? It was like we're walking. We got an Airbnb, and we're right on the edge of Bed-Stuy, and
you're proper in the ghetto,
right?
You're proper in the ghetto. Okay.
We're walking to the find this place. You got these guys sat on their porches. And it's exactly like you see it on the telly.
Yeah.
All the guys playing basketball. There's no white people at all. And these guys are like, yo, what you doing? What you doing here? And they're not being like confrontational or nothing, but you can see they're thinking,
what are you doing? Yeah.
And this guy said, man, what are you doing? I said, we're staying down this road. He said, you're fucking crazy, man. But like we went to some of the boxing gyms around there, and it was just madness. Like we're all coming back on the tube or the subway about 2 a.m, and there's this guy sat opposite, big black guy sat opposite me. Everyone seems bigger over there.
Yeah.
And he's looking at me, and I'm thinking, oh man. And he looks at my trainers, and he's like, I like your trainers. And I went, they ain't gonna fit you. But like, it was just like, it was a mad experience. But you see the divide from people who've got everything, and then
people
on
took
the other side of the
nothing.
street they got nothing.
Yeah.
And I can remember seeing this lady walking down the street, and like she was obviously like on crack or something, but she had like nothing on apart from this jacket, no shoes on, and it was snowing, and it's just like you got these people who've got like multi-million-pound houses and cars, and they just walk straight by. No one cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
I don't think the UK has got that kind of poverty.
Nah.
There were so many people, like crazy, like people with, you could just see they had mental illnesses, and it was
proper like in your face over there, like differently.
And everyone's loud.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember this little kid walking up the street, and his mum's cussing him out, get back in the house, rah, rah, and like, but it was just like the films.
Yeah.
You know, but weird place. You know, like I remember looking at this, like these big high-rise flats and that, and you know that thing on The Lion King when he goes, "Son, you should never go there." It was just like, honestly, it's like that. You know, but it was a wicked experience.
Yeah.
We'll go back probably next year and take our Jay over there.
Okay.
See if he can hold his own with them. Them New York boys.
Yeah. That's a sick experience, man. Brooklyn, proper in the ghetto. It's a Bed-Stuy. Yeah, trust me. No, but you got anything else to wrap up?
Basically good for everything, innit?
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah,
good.
Obviously we talk about really, but it's about you today.
Yeah, that's right. So like I said, people, the most important thing is to check out Fight Factory. Go down there, have a little, test it out, and also before we end this, talking about your fighting camp and your and those things there, John. Kids was going through stuff at school, like getting bullied and you know, might have issues at home and issues on the streets, or you know what I mean. Both sides, male and female. Does boxing?
Do you know what boxing?
Does boxing help?
Boxing will change your life, you know, and you don't have to be the toughest kid. You know, we have kids walk in our gym who, if when you was at school, you wouldn't have looked twice at them, but they stick at it and there's something in them, and they become amazing, you know, and it gives people. Boxing gym, dreams can come true, I'm telling you. I've seen kids from all walks of life, you know, and if you've got whatever frustrations you've got, you can let it out in a boxing gym in a place where you're not going to get locked up for it, you're not going to get in trouble for it, and there's actually people, not just in my gym, in gyms, boxing gyms all over the country, who really care about them kids, you know, and you know they'll do their best to help them create a more positive life for themselves.
Yeah. I bet you have quite a lot of kids in it. Like what's come,
loads,
literally came through your door.
Yeah, and like you know, it's sad really because there's a lot of kids who need help, and I think the government should do more in schools to even if they don't want to get punched themselves, just let their hands go on the pads. And, you know, it's a good stress reliever. Maybe some of them kids might stop self-harming and stuff.
That's true.
If they can let
I reckon PE is a bit too soft.
Yeah.
I reckon they do need to add in a bit more stuff in because like in America, for example, wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling's another thing.
Like wrestling's like it's a big thing in America, but also it's a big thing in PE.
Yeah.
Like whatever, well, their version or whatever it is. But over here we haven't got boxing or.
Do you know what? There's a lot of kids, a lot of tough kids as well from all places, all cities that need that type of thing, and like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say this, and you can't say that, and it's like, just let them be kids, man. Just let them get injured and let them get over it.
That's right. That's right.
Let them wipe their mouth and get on with it.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Life is hard, man, and if you don't set people up for tough times, they can't cope with it.
They ain't gonna cope with it. That's true words as well.
You know, when I was growing up, there was no like anxiety and all that. It was like
you have to just get on with it, innit?
Get to school.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think there's too many people, you know, stroking people's backs these days.
Yeah.
Just get on with it. Like,
I kind of blame social media for that. Social media plays a big part of that as well. But no, definitely, I agree with you on that one there. But so you said people can purchase the tickets on the door for the event.
Yeah, Oxtor Centre, they can come. Doors will be open at 6:30. So it's £15 for adults, £5 for kids. All that money will go straight back into the boxing club.
All right.
And obviously to fund the show. But yeah, so there'll be some wicked fights on there.
Yeah, I see you with some fight gear as well, like I see you with some hats as well. I see you getting into the yeah. You got all the merch in now, yeah.
I'll drop some down for you.
Oh, wicked, man! I respect that. So with the merch as well, where can people purchase that as well?
So you can come in the gym and buy that. You can buy your hoodies and then walk around like you're a boxer.
Yeah. No, I respect that. All right then. Yeah. So respect for coming on the podcast, John.
A good one.
Yeah. Like I said, people, make sure you go. Check out Fight Factory, check it out on Instagram, Facebook. If you want to get your kids into it, like he said, go back in, rewind. And like I said, we told you a couple of the days when he does it and those things there. But yeah, if you want to get your kids into boxing or anything like that, or maybe yourself and you don't know where to go to Fight Factory. That's Bristol Road, right?
Yeah, we're on Bristol Road, but I'm easy to find them on Facebook
and Instagram and all those things.
Whatever.
All right, and yeah, we're gone. And like I said, people, it's a good one, good energy. Respect to John, and don't forget people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we are gone. It's another episode. We're gone, people. Peace out. Stay safe, stay blessed, and you don't know. Peace.